Welcome! Today's episode is going to be a little bit different than the normal tema video. Today I will just show a recording of how I'm usually practicing. So it's going to contain mistakes, mishaps, everything as it usually is when I practice alone. It's also an opportunity for me to show off the very first use of my new tiny tea space. This is for me a very temporary space while my home is being renovated. My normal tea room is full of dust and construction work, so I can't use that. So for a few weeks I'll be using this tiny space, if it works out, that is. Hope you enjoy. As you can see, there's still some construction going on in the house. Welcome. You can even see the plastic is still on the door to protect it during the construction. So, as you might understand, this is a different video. We'll get a commentary along the way. So this is my IKEA bed that can be lifted up, and I can just fit 2 tatami mats underneath. I call it the sleeping abode. I was thinking to have the tatami either this way that they are or the other way. This is the only way I can fit a guest in there, but the other way is better I think in kind of moving in and out and doing all the things you need to do on the highest part of the room. So adding some incense. Of course need electricity for the furo. And now setting up. I'm planning to do chaide kasari. It's the first time using this space. I've never ever done tea in here before, so we'll see how it all turns out. I'm also using a chaide that I haven't used before. I'm planning to print a 3D printed lid for it, but I haven't gotten around to that. My printer is stuck in a construction room. And I recently got a new shifuku for the chaide. So here we go. You can see I have lowered the blinds, as is traditional during koichai. It should be dark in the beginning. Normally, after the host puts down the hishaku like this, the hanto or the assistant will start outside to roll up the blinds that are covering the windows of the tea room. Of course, in this case, I'm in a bedroom, and IKEA has just launched their smart blinds, so I just push a button and up they go, bringing light to my tea room. I don't think I'm gonna have this type of solutions in any other tea room, but since this is a bedroom, blinds kind of make sense. You can't see it very well, but the shifuku is a gorgeous gold kind of color. It's a exquisite sewing done by a tea friend called Kyle. He's also made a kobuksa for a different project. The chaide is a commissioned chaide from Australia. You can't really see it on the video, but it's not round. It has a wide shape with kind of edges, but as you'll see, it turned out that it was quite easy to turn it and use it as we normally use a chaide. So this is also the first time this chaide is being used. I waited for the shifuku since the Kyle that is sewing the shifuku also has been doing some moving and construction. He hasn't been able to do the project before, just recently. So here's the turning. So even if it has edges, the turning is going quite easy. The lid on this chai there is the lid that the potter made. It has a tall little knob thing that I thought would make it hard to put the shashaku down on, and it's hard, but it's still doable if you're careful. And I didn't realize you could see the walk-in closet in the background, because the door to the walk-in closet is, as so many other things in this construction project, delayed. I'm using a quite large chawan. This chawan is made by a Norwegian potter 15-ish years ago. It's a typical winter chawan, I would say, but with this chai that is quite large, and since the chai was standing in the beginning, I felt that I needed a large chawan. Otherwise, the other chawan I wanted to use is kind of low, and it looked very, very strange. So a little bit of a toyawase consideration in choosing, though I have quite limited options. Most of my stuff is still in boxes in storage. The whole house being under remodeling. I was curious about how it would feel to sit under this kind of angled roof that the bed is making. Yeah, actually, honestly, it wasn't a problem. There's nothing that you're knocking in as long as you're not standing up. Standing up and coming in and out, that was a bit unpractical. So if I was gonna have this as a permanent tea room, I think I would look into a way of turning that back wall behind me there into like a section that could be removed, or at least opened as a door or something, so that you could walk straight into the tatami, not needing to step over that quite tall edge. And this is also the reason I'm using hakama. Usually for my private Okeiko, I don't use hakama, but it was all but impossible to step over that ledge dressed in a kimono without hakama. So I said I'd leave all the mistakes in here. Usually I'd be able to edit out this, and I could have edited it out now, but I was struggling a bit with the shashaku here. The second attempt, way better. Having to be more careful than usual, because the shashaku is actually now standing at a slight angle, because the top of the chai isn't flat. This mizusashi is a found item, so it's actually a flower pot from a Norwegian flower store at a bargain, and so it looks like it's bark, kind of a white birch type of thing where it's cracked and quite interesting, but it's all pottery. So today I'm actually using a Usucha. This was more oversized. This is Ujin Seicha, Shitsu no Tomo. And here I've noticed that I forgot to bring a second Kobuksa, rookie mistake, for Chairi Kasari, or the Kasaris that require to use one for yeah, so it's only Chairi Kasari that would have this issue. But again, I'm leaving the mistakes in just to give a more authentic feeling for how my practice is going. Far from everything is perfect. Normally, I just edit it out. And again, I wouldn't normally allow the hardware for recording to be part of the shot. Normally, what I do is I remove them in the end, and then have a shot where the cameras are not in, and then I kind of copy those shots on top of the original shot, and is able to hide it. So you can kind of hide in parts of the environment if the cameras are fixed all the time. And here I remove my fuxa. This is something I do when I'm my own guest. I like to just flip the fuxa off, put it behind Kinsui, enjoy my tea. Even though I'm sitting at an odd angle, I try to not put it across the line. And here you see I don't use Kaishi anymore. I've totally switched to Hanshi. I found that was much easier to use. So this is a piece of Hanshi. It's 1/8 of a Hanshi that I wipe the T-bone with, and then I fold it and wipe once more. And if needed, I'd use a second 1/8 of a Hanshi. And then just curl it up and it goes in the sleeve. There's some magic that happens with the hanshi in the way it absorbs the tea, so there's no stains, no leftover when you just curl it up. Again, how was this fuxa thing, kobuksa going? Well. Becomes odd when you're sitting that way. And then fuxa back on, and now I'm going back into more of a host role. So this bed, this that I'm using as a tea space, is an IKEA bed. It has some sort of hydraulic thingy on the end, helping you to push it up. So you don't need to move all the weight by hand, and there's no mechanism keeping the bed up. So you don't need to lock the bed in an up position. You just pull it up and it's there, and you pull it down when you're done. Not terribly expensive for a bed to be in Norway, at least. I have no clue how this is in other countries. I don't intend to use it as a tea space, because I will have proper tea rooms in the basement once we're done renovating. But for the next coming few weeks, I think I will use it. I've been forced to do mostly my traveling chabako, safety data that I call it. because I have no way to do it. So it's just I have a little pillow that I sit on and do this one quick temai. But I really felt like I wanted to do a proper standard temai today, and this space will allow me to do standard temais for the coming weeks, and then I'll remove it all and use it for what when we bought the bed. We intended to have it for storage, and we wanted this kind of solution here with the cover around, so avoid getting dust underneath. So it's totally enclosed. Well, that's the theory anyway. This setup that you can see parts of in the camera here, with one camera over in the front and one audio recorder down in the left corner, just poking out in the image. That's what I usually do. Is the cameras take really poor audio quality, and if you use the audio for each of the camera, it will change each time you have a change of camera angle, or you could potentially use one camera's audio all the time, but it usually a lot of noise on them compared to this audio recorder that I got to use or purchased to use for T-Life audio. On this channel I don't think I've talked about T-Life audio. So T-Life in one word .audio. This is a URL kind of uncommon, this .audio, but it's the same as .com. This is a podcast that me and some good tea friends are making. We have, I think, 107 or 108 episodes out by now. I think the average episode is about an hour. We only talk about Channel U related topics. So if you haven't checked it out, I think you should give it a shot. And if you like it, you have lots and lots and lots of hours of content to listen on to. There's a wide mix of what we talk about. So we've had like one episode where we talked about Ikyaku Ite. We have one episode where we talked about just Chaide. We have had lots of different guests coming on. So there's lots of variety. So you can find it either by going to http://tlife.audio, or you can search for it in iTunes and most other podcasting software. You'll find it as T-Life in one word. T-Life, of course, is also free, same as this channel. It's basically being paid for, or covers its cost by Patreon, which is totally voluntary donations, same as this channel, where you can go to the patreon.com. You can set up a little commitment, say that I want to give $1 a month, or 10 or 15 or 20, and then every month you get deducted that amount, and it gets transferred to the cause you're supporting. Patreon.com is a super common, I'd say, this de facto standard way of doing this for creators today. So it's not a scary, obscure web page. It's super safe and super easy to use in both ends, and you can stop being a patron whenever you choose to. A lot of patrons will have levels, so depending on the level you get some benefits. For my channel there's a few different levels that will give you a few different items if you stay at that level for a certain amount of time. So I hope you will consider that for this channel, and that would be an URL. I'll put it in the text of this video. Feels a bit odd to stand up. It's like where to put your head. So in the end I figured turn toward the guest to get enough space. So not perfect, but what can you do? You're doing tea underneath the bed. So. And I wish I had a door I could close now, but doors are in short supply. Hopefully the coming week will give me doors in my home. And when I practice for myself, of course there's no guest to actually look at the hiking doggo and turn them, so I usually just come back like this, then I flip them all around, and I do a quick pretend for the answers questions. So the guest would here ask about the story of the Chaide, because this is Chaide Kasari. I didn't really give a story. And then there's the Shashaki they would ask about, and finally asking about the Shifuku. And usually I have nothing to say about the Shifuku, but in this case I actually do, because there's this great guy in the UK who makes custom Shifukus for people on commission. So check out him. I'll try to put a link to his Instagram also in the text below. Well, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed a little bit more of a casual video with a voiceover. Please let me know what you think about this type of video in the comments. I know if it's worth doing more of them, or if you prefer that we stick with the Temae videos. Thank you for watching.